cubicle 9 and mouthwash. Thank you,
Yes,
nurse.
sir.
Look, I have to ring you back when things cool down. Yeah, bye.
Come to casualty, and this is where I'm going to leave you to observe Dr. Collier and the other doctors in action.
That's all I needed. Dr. Upton's mystery tours.
Paul, are you busy?
No, just a few friends who've popped in for dinner.
Well, I'll bring my students back when things quieten down.
No, let them stay.
You sure?
It'll be a good experience for them.
Right.
To watch you in action.
What?
I'm sure Dr. Upton's been far too modest, and you can have little idea of his vast wealth of experience, why, when he was a student in casualty, his handling of the patients had to be seen to be believed.
Yes, tell me on.
And what better example could they have than a brand new junior registrar?
Well,
So, I'll be back in a minute, right there, next.
emergency case?
No, cup of tea.
Hospital, not Stamford Bridge. Bloody referee! Any more of that and I'll send you off. Right, now when you're dealing with outpatients, you must remember that the vast majority of them will be ill at ease. So it's very important to give them plenty of reassurance. Skinner, would you take this gentleman, if you go with this doctor, and strip to the waist? Right. Now, the man in the pinstripe suit. Diagnosis, anyone? You're probably wondering how I can diagnose without an examination. Simple. He is suffering from acute anxiety neurosis. In other words, a queue jumper. What's the matter? Can't we sit still?
No, I can't. I've got a boil in a very painful place. Look, I'm a very busy man, and Professor Loftus said I should be seen at once.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you need to be on the lookout for just this sort of thing.
Geoffrey Loftus is a personal friend of mine.
Oh, yes, that's method number 4. They take a quick butcher's at the notice board outside and then claim they've known the dean since he was trained to use a potty. You'll have to do better than that. Would you go to the back of the queue, please?
How dare you? I need immediate attention. Look, here you'll find a letter from Professor Loftus.
Yes, and one from the Prime Minister, and one from the Queen. Well, don't just stand there, Bateman. Take this gentleman to cubicle 2 and take down his trousers.
Thank you, Doctor.
How's it going, Mike?
I've just got an irate friend of Loftus in there with his pants off.
And I've got a man stripped to the waist in cubicle 2.
You two have been busy.
Well, look...
Excuse me, Doctor. I've cut my hand and it's throbbing a bit.
Yes? All right, Mr. Hoyle. If you go to cubicle 5, I'll be with you in a moment. Sidwell, would you change Mr. Hoyle's dressing for him? And don't make a mess of it.
Hello, Mike. You've been demoted?
No, Paul conned me into helping out, and I'm beginning to wish he hadn't.
Ah, well, it never pays to help out a friend. In fact, I do quite well out of friends paying me not to help out. They find it less trouble. What happened, anyway?
Ask him. Now, I'll deal with cubicle 3 myself. Will you assist
Mike
Dr.
offered to help out.
Yes. Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir.
That's the trouble with the medical profession. You think because you have a monopoly you can treat patients as you wish.
Yes, I'm sorry about that misunderstanding. The student will change the dressing. It should be ready for lancing in about 10 days. Just try to avoid any unnecessary strain.
Yes. Such as hanging about a hospital in a horrible draft.
Yes, sorry. Thank you, Sidwell. I'll take over now. How did you cut your hand, Mr. Hall?
On a packing case, Doctor. Not going to be a long job, is it? Only I'm going abroad in a couple of weeks.
Well, I don't expect we'll have to cut it off. Joke. Oh. Well, as you can see, the hand is badly inflamed. Mr. Hoyle's probably got some dirt in there, so there's a considerable risk of infection. That risk will be eliminated by a penicillin injection. Go and get some penicillin from the nurse and a fresh dressing. Not allergic to penicillin, are you, Mr. Hoyle?
Poor old Mike. You really lumbered him.
No, you'll be all right.
Well, where's that dressing? Oh, thank you, nurse.
Fancy a drink, Mike? You look like you need one.
Yeah, just a minute. Oh, look, you can all go now. Come back tomorrow morning. And if you find Sidwell wandering around the corridors, take him with you. I'll just finish off this cut hand in cubicle 5 and I'll join you in the bar. And I want a double.
Oh, you shall have it. It's Dick's round.
What?
What's the matter with him, Doctor?
Cortisone, quickly.
Will he be all right?
Suffering from anaphylactic shock. Severe reaction to the penicillin. The thing is, he said he wasn't allergic.
Half of them don't know what they're allergic to. Anyway, you saved his life, and I hope he's grateful.
Come in.
You, wanted to see me, sir?
Ah, yes, Upton. I want to talk to you about that business in Casualty the other evening.
The penicillin allergy?
Precisely.
Oh, well, that was nothing, sir.
Really?
Well, it was all in a day's work.
I wouldn't call nearly killing one of our patients a regular part of our routine.
No, sir, I saved his life.
I believe you, Upton. The point is, will the court?
Court?
Bertrand Hoyle has brought an action against St. Swithin's. He's claiming damages.
Damages?
He alleges that his life was endangered by your gross negligence.
Negligence?
Upton, you have to repeat everything I say. It's like carrying on a conversation in the Grand Canyon.
I don't understand.
Hoyle insists that before you treated him, he specifically told you that he was allergic to penicillin.
That's a lie.
The hearing's in 2 days' time.
2 days? But I thought these
Yes,
things...
well, never mind what you thought. Hoyle's emigrating to Australia, so he's been granted permission for an early hearing.
This is... terrible.
Considering that only a fortnight ago I saw fit to recommend your appointment as junior registrar, I think the adjective you're groping for is disastrous. Now, normally I'd be inclined to rely upon you as one of the less idiotic specimens of your generation. But judging by the way you insulted a personal friend of mine that evening...
Mr. Holcroft?
Mr. Holcroft, I'm prepared to believe the worst.
Well, look...
Now, our solicitors have engaged a very able QC in the person of Mortimer Turnbull. You must see him at once. Now, this is the address of our solicitors. If you go down to their office, they'll take you along to his chambers.
Chambers?
Oh, you've done it again. Get out!
Mr. Turnbull won't be long. He's just getting a divorce. Are you black or white? Coffee.
Oh, white, please. No sugar.
That's just as well. There's none left in the machine. I could probably find the odd lump in the petty cash box, though. Ah, is Mr. Turnbull coming now? Afternoon, Mr. Turnbull.
Decree nice high, 1 minute 25 seconds. Who's this, Wiggers?
Dr. Michael Upton, St. Swithin's Hospital.
Oh, yes, you're my gross negligence. Mortimer Turnbull, how do you do? Wiggers, see if you can wring some coffee out of that wretched machine. You'll find some sugar in the petty cash box. Now, do sit down, Doctor. Do sit down, tell me all about yourself. You'll find my bench-side manner irresistible.
Very good. Well, what would you like to know?
Oh, why you did it, of course. No. Now, tell me what happened on the night of the 3rd when you were working in casualty.
Well, I wasn't actually working in casualty. I was just passing through with a group of students.
And pray, what has taking a shortcut through casualty got to do with what actually happened?
Well, a colleague of mine, Dr. Collier, asked me to help out. They were busy.
I see. And doubtless if you'd been taking a shortcut through brain surgery, you'd have stopped and given them a hand as well.
I think that might have been going a bit far.
Yes, I think perhaps it might. Well, now, let's see. They've established that the casualty ward was exceptionally busy that night.
Oh, yes, like a madhouse. And drunken football supporters.
Yes. So busy, in fact, that they were obliged to enlist your assistance.
Yes.
Assistance which, shall we say, was rather impaired by the fact that you'd been out for the best part of the evening carousing with your student friends.
I'd been on duty for 5 hours at the time, and the only bit of carousing I'd done was with a cup of coffee out of a machine.
Coffee won't be a moment, sir.
Yes, all right. Well, get on with it, Wickers.
Quick as I can, sir.
Right, now, tell me what happened with Mr. Hoyle.
Well, I read his medical notes, and he was taken to a cubicle. I then examined his hand, and apart from being badly cut, it was also inflamed.
You and he were alone?
Well, not initially. I had a student there with me. I wanted to give him some first-hand experience of working in casualty. That's what we were doing in casualty in the first place.
You said that if Hoyle gave you any trouble, you'd cut his hand off.
That's a complete lie.
No, not now, Wickers, not now. So, Mr. Hoyle is a liar, is he?
Yes, he is.
Why did you threaten to cut his hand off?
I didn't. He seemed over-anxious, so I tried to put him at ease by telling him that we wouldn't cut his hand off. It was a joke.
Oh, I see. And I dare say the fact that Hoyle very nearly died struck you as being particularly amusing. Now, you injected him with a dose of penicillin in spite of his telling you that he was allergic to it.
No, he said he wasn't.
Oh, the medical student can, of course, verify that. Sugar, Wickers?
Well, no, he'd gone to get the penicillin.
I looked in the cash box, sir. Couldn't find any.
How convenient, Dr. Upton. No witnesses to your gross negligence. Don't you find that as being suspicious, Wickers?
Well, it is very peculiar, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry about that, Mr. Turnbull. Get some more.
Look, if a man tells me that he's not allergic to penicillin and there are no medical notes to contradict him, then I believe him. I mean, why should a man knowingly put his life at risk?
Why indeed, Dr Upton?
Machines ran out of coffee, sir. Will a hot chocolate
Oh, get out! Dr Upton, I put it to you, are you not guilty of gross, dare I say it, criminal negligence with regard to your treatment of Bertram Hoyle? He came to you for care and attention. You laughed at his pain, you abused him, threatened him, you then injected him with a dose of deadly penicillin and practically killed him. What plea of mitigation can justify such heinous actions? I put it to you, Dr Upton, that your entire evidence has been a tissue of lies designed to hide your culpability.
Professor Loftus, sir.
Good morning. Everything all right? I was wondering if you'd arrived at any conclusion.
Oh, yes. He's obviously telling the truth. We'll win.
Have they started on my case yet?
Not unless you're the Watford Nudist Club. You should see the exhibits.
I wonder where the hell Mortimer Turnbull is.
Well, the usher says he's in the robing room in there.
Huh? Well, I was going to see him.
No, don't worry, Mike. Everything's going to be all right.
You sure?
Yes.
Yes, of course it is.
Come in. Come in, Upton, come in. Look, Johnson versus Pilbright, ruling of Mr. Justice Buller. A duck is entitled to the same consideration as a dog.
Does that help us?
No, but it's a fascinating case.
What are you looking for?
Oh, precedents, lad, precedents. You can't have too many of them.
How many have you got?
None. Look, you wouldn't consider pleading temporary insanity, would you?
Now listen.
What I need is a large scotch.
What Mike needs is a small miracle.
Oh, he'll be all right.
It's this place. I feel guilty just standing here.
I feel frustrated.
What are you on about?
Got a date.
Do you realise that Mike stands to lose his entire career?
Well, I stand to lose an entire bit of crumpet. What, you wouldn't give up a bit of crumpet?
Oh, belt up, will you? Relax. You'll get your money. Oh, dear, look. Would I turn you over 500 quid? God, it's peanuts compared to what we're going to pick up here today. Of course I'm going to win. Blimey, I know my way around a courtroom, mate, don't I?
Oh, everything all right, Mike?
Oh, yes, everything's fine. What will I get for murdering Turnbull?
A medal from the legal profession.
Oh, my God, they're starting.
How do you know?
Well, there's Hoyle just going into court with the usher.
Hoyle? I just heard him on the phone. And then he said he knew his way around a courtroom.
Yeah, he set you up, Mike.
Mr. Turnbull, you've got to stop the case.
Oh, no need to panic, Upton. We'll give him a fight.
No, look, you've got to get in the German. They have Hoyle
Relax
on the...
now, Upton. Get your friends to buy you a tea. Nothing stronger, mind. Don't want you falling over in the witness box.
No, listen.
Just wait until you're called.
Where's the junior?
The law books.
What?
Well, if it's happened before, if he's tried it before, there'll be a record of the case.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Oh, Lord, this will be like cramming for the primary all over again.
It could be worse. His name might be Smith. Hoyle.
Well, I displayed my credentials to the sister, who told me I'd be seen immediately by a doctor. Meanwhile, I took my place with the other patients.
Other patients? Was the casualty department busy?
Well, it seemed to be. There was a lot of patients hanging about, and all the staff running about all over the place.
I see. Hardly ideal conditions for a careful diagnosis.
Any luck, Paul?
No, there's only one case here involving anybody called Hoyle.
Oh, we only need one case.
If it's the same Hoyle, he must be 120 years old.
What about you, Dick?
Did you know that if a woman was pregnant and she wanted to go to the lavatory, she can ask a policeman to lend her his raincoat?
Dick!
Sorry. You know, this could take days. We've got to get in a German. I said, why don't we ring Loftus?
Oh, he's had a meeting with the Board of Governors.
Yes, but Turnbull would certainly listen to him.
Right.
Lend her his raincoat?
Having established that the choir were in fact football supporters also requiring treatment and not members of St. Swithin's staff, perhaps we can move to something more germane to the case, Mr. Hoyle. Now, a moment ago you described Dr. Upton's manner as being peculiar. Could we clarify exactly what you mean by that?
Look, sir, we've got to get an adjournment. We need time to prove that Hoyle's on the fiddle.
Upton, we're dealing with a criminal, not a third violinist from the Royal Philharmonic.
You must come to court and speak to Turnbull, sir. We've tried, but he won't listen.
Tell me, Upton, does the hospital file on Hoyle contain the name of his GP?
Oh, yes, of course it does, but why?
You must delay the proceedings as long as possible. I don't care how you do it, as long as you don't break the law. I need time.
He says he needs time.
If he doesn't get here soon, he'll be doing time.
Look, sir, we need you here now.
Prolong the proceedings, Upton. I want the casualty department file on Bertram Hoyle, and I want it immediately.
Well, what's he going to do then?
I don't know.
What did he say?
I don't know.
Did he believe you about Hoyle?
Yeah.
Well, didn't he say if he was coming?
No.
Well, do you think he will come?
I don't know. He said we've got to spin it out. How do we do that?
I don't know.
That's 1 yes, 1 no, and 4 I don't knows.
Dr. Michael Upton.
Good luck, Mike.
Good luck, Mike.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence which I shall give to this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the... Oh, my God.
Dr. Upton, you are Dr. Michael Upton, currently practicing at St. Swithin's Hospital.
Yes, my lord.
I'm glad you're practicing, Dr. Upton. Are you getting any better? I must advise both parties that this young man is known to me, having on one occasion treated me. Does either counsel have any objection to my sitting on this case?
No, my lord, we have no objection.
Mr. Turnbull?
Oh, no, my lord, we've no objection.
So your name is Dr. Upton?
My lord, I would like an adjournment.
Why?
Vital evidence is on its way to court.
Where is the evidence coming from?
I don't know.
What is this evidence?
I'm not sure, but it is vital.
Mr. Turnbull, perhaps you'd better have a word with your client. He seems a trifle confused.
Yes, my lord. Upton, pull yourself together.
I've got to get an adjournment.
What are you talking about?
Hoyle's a con man. The whole thing's a put-up job.
What?
Listen,
What's happening?
I don't know.
Well, can you see anything?
No.
Can you hear anything?
No.
You make a marvellous sports commentator.
Call Dr. Paul Collier.
Oh, God.
Oh, good. Come on, let's go.
Stay here. You've got to wait for Loftus.
Oh, all right.
Any sign of Loftus?
No. What the hell did you get me in here for?
Dr. Collier?
Yes.
Well, come along, Dr. Collier. Quickly, this is a busy call.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence which I overheard a man talking on the phone. I later learned that this man was Bertram Hoyle. It was obvious from what he was saying that he owed somebody £500. He said he'd be able to pay them after today because he was sure of winning his case because he knew his way around a courtroom.
My lord, I must protest at this wicked slur against my client's good name. This is quite obviously some conspiracy cooked up by the defendant's friends to discredit Mr. Hoyle.
I suggest you allow me to be the judge of that. Did you overhear anything else?
There was further conversation, my lord, but my colleague and I, not realising it was Mr. Hoyle, moved away.
No further questions?
Dr. Collier,
Yes?
how long have you known Dr. Upton?
About 5 years.
He is a close friend of yours.
Oh, yes.
One that you would do anything for.
Yes.
Including going into the witness box and committing perjury to save his reputation. No further questions.
Perhaps you'd like to answer my learned friend's last question. Would you commit perjury for your friend?
I'm a doctor, not a professional liar.
Thank you.
Great.
It's only my word against his.
See if Loftus is here.
Dr. Upton.
Dr. Upton, please.
Try and spin it out.
Come along, please, Dr. Upton. You are still under oath, Dr. Upton.
Yes, my lord. Ah!
Is something the matter?
A crick in my neck, my lord. Fish, it's locked solid.
Is there a doctor in the court?
I'm a doctor, Lord. You're doing fine, Mike. Keep it up.
Any sign of Loftus?
No. Want me to create a diversion, do a strip or something?
Watch out, Holcroft's getting the needle. Thank you, that's much better.
You're doing fine, Mike. Just a slight seizure of the spinal column, my lord.
Dr. Upton, I'd like to come directly to your examination of Mr. Hoyle.
Pardon?
I say, I would like to come directly to your examination of Mr. Hoyle.
I'm sorry.
Your examination of Mr. Hoyle.
My lord, how much longer must we endure this blatant time wasting?
Well, if you were to sit down, we could get on with it.
Now,
Gentlemen, I intend to get to the bottom of this case if it takes me all day and all night. The next interruption will be dealt with severely, and I mean severely.
Mr. Turnbull, this is the vital evidence.
Have those men in the cell. Have Welsh militants running amok in my court. Oh, Professor Loftus, I'd no idea you felt so strongly about Home Rule for Wales.
I didn't know.
My lord, I would now like to examine Bertram Hoyle.
Oh, you would you? Well, there are several difficulties in the way of that. In the first place, you've already cross-examined Mr. Hoyle, and in case you've forgotten, your own client is still in the box.
My lord, I assure you that the interests of justice in this case can only be served by the immediate re-examination of Mr. Hoyle.
Oh, very well, Mr. Turnbull.
Mr. Hoyle, would you please?
I may remind you, Mr. Hoyle, you are still under oath.
Now, Mr. Hoyle, I understand that at one time your name was Bernard Plimpton.
Plimpton? Might have been.
Now, there's no might about it, Mr. Hoyle. You changed your name by deed poll. Now, why was that?
Well, business reasons. No law against that, is there?
Business reasons. How true, Mr. Hoyle, how true. Or should I say Plimpton? Yes, you certainly know your way around a courtroom, don't you? Plimpton versus the Bradford Canneries. You were awarded £10,000 as a result, damages as a result of their negligence. Plimpton versus the Monmouthshire Water Board, £7,000 damages. And Plimpton versus the Liverpool Bread Company, £5,000 damages. You know, you would appear to be either professionally accident-prone or the next best thing to a walking disaster area.
I've had a lot of bad luck.
Yes, you certainly have, and you've had some bad luck at St. Swithin's, haven't you? All you expected from the penicillin was a mild reaction. Nothing serious, just enough to ensure a substantial sum of damages.
Mr. Millington, in view of the evidence you've just heard, I think you should give your client some advice.
My lord.
And as quickly as you can, please.
My lord, my client wishes to withdraw his action.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised. After the evidence I've just heard, I've no hesitation in making an order for costs against your client. You will hand in your passport immediately this court rises. You will not be going to Australia, Mr. Hoyle, but you may be going somewhere a great deal hotter. Dr. Upton, you are free to go. The court is adjourned.
Well, it was simple, really. We hadn't been able to find anything on Hoyle in the law books, so therefore, if he'd been involved in any previous cases, it was under another name. His GP confirmed that some time ago, Hoyle, or rather Plimpton, changed his name. The rest was easy.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes, you were lucky this time, Dr. Upton, but then you had a good counsel.
Well done, Mike. Well, mustache, crumpet at 4.
Or you'll get indigestion eating between meals. I moustache. Oh, Doctor, as you appear to suffer so badly from cramp and deafness, why don't you get you some sort of medical attention? I can give you the address of a very good doctor.
Would you like a lift back to the hospital, Dr. Upton?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Oh, Mike, you wouldn't like to give me a hand in casualty this evening, would you?
Yeah, sure.
7 and give cubicle 9 a mouthwash. Thank you, nurse. Look, I have to ring you back when things cool down. Yeah, bye.
To casualty, and this is where I'm going to leave you to observe Dr. Collier and the other doctors in action.
That's all I needed. Dr. Upton's mystery tours.
Paul, are you busy?
No, just a few friends who've popped in for dinner.
Well, I'll bring my students back when things quieten
No,
down.
let them stay.
Sure.
It'll be a good experience for them.
Right.
To watch you in action.
What?
I'm sure Dr. Upton's been far too modest, and you can have little idea of his vast wealth of experience. Why, when he was a student in casualty, his handling of the patients had to be seen to be believed.
Yes, tell me.
And what better example could they have than a brand new junior registrar?
Well...
So, I'll be back in a minute. Right, they're next.
Emergency case?
No, a cup of tea.
Hospital, not Stamford Bridge. Bloody referee! Any more of that and I'll send you off. Right, now when you're dealing with outpatients, you must remember that the vast majority of them will be ill at ease. So it's very important to give them plenty of reassurance. Skinner, would you take this gentleman, if you go with this doctor, and strip to the waist? Right. Now, the man in the pinstripe suit. Diagnosis, anyone? You're probably wondering how I can diagnose without an examination. Simple. He is suffering from acute anxiety neurosis. In other words, a queue jumper. What's the matter? Can't we sit still?
No, I can't. I've got a boil in a very painful place. Look, I'm a very busy man, and Professor Loftus said I should be seen at once.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you need to be on the lookout for just this sort of thing.
Geoffrey Loftus is a personal friend of mine.
Oh, yes, that's method number 4. They take a quick butchers at the notice board outside and then claim they've known the dean since he was trained to use a potty. You'll have to do better than that, would you go?